So Cut to the Chase Sports Podcast. We're debating big sports topics that, a lot of people have just had controversy about. So let's get into the show. ATL Jacob. And we're back. All right. No theme song today. That's all good for us. I am your host, Chase Jontz. I don't know what happened there, but it's all good. I'm surrounded by my guys, Brady King. I guess they didn't want to play the theme song today. Brady King, what's going on with you?
Not much, to be honest with you. Just different type of show. So obviously going to be interesting to see how this works, but ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, we pass a lot of information on and all that stuff. I mean, we agree on a lot of things because, we have some pretty good knowledge overall. So bit of a different show. I'm excited for it. Matt, down to you. What's going on with you, Matt?
What's up, boys? I'm excited. This might be my favorite show ever. So let's turn and burn on it.
Let's do it, man. Episode 99. This is going to be a fun one. Before we get into things, I like to make an announcement real quick. I will actually be extending our show for a different side of things. Cut to the Chase Bengals Blitz. It's going to be on the Fans First Sports Network. Very excited for this new opportunity. You'll see Matt and Brady on there occasionally here and there, but just me as a big Bengals fan and a bunch of other Bengals guys coming on here talking, the best team in the world, even though we haven't won a Super Bowl. So just wanted to throw that out there. Very excited for this new opportunity that we have coming up. We're still going to bring you guys, obviously, college football content, NFL content, all this stuff on this page, but just a new extension of the show, and I'm really excited to see where this thing takes us. Now, we've got about 8 topics to debate. If anybody has any other topics that we want to bring up,
we left out a big one. So I might bring that up eventually. But
yes.
I think yes.
Bring that up at any time given, all right?
Yep.
So let's start with a little recency thing, all right? So greatest NBA playoff performance of the 21st century, all right? So dating back to 2000, all right? Obviously, we know there's a great player in the name of LeBron James, arguably everybody's GOAT. He has, been dominating this entire century ever since he was 18 years old in 2003, took the league by storm, still doing things that, nearly at age 40. I'm going to drop down to Matt. Matt, what do you think? It doesn't have to necessarily be, highest point total, rebound total, just something like that. What is one of the greatest NBA playoff performances you've seen in your life?
The greatest performance I've ever watched. I was in 8th grade at the time. For all the people that don't know, I'm kind of a Boston Celtics fan. I always grew up loving the Celtics and everything. So back then, they were obviously really good. Year 2012 was the year LeBron James, the Miami Heat come into Boston Garden. They're down. Miami is down 3-2. Elimination game 6 in Boston Garden. LeBron drops 45, 15 rebounds, and like 5 or 6 assists. And it was just one of the craziest things I've ever seen up to that point. Now, we've seen games probably with higher point totals. It was just the way he did it. He just looked like a freak of nature on the court the whole entire time. That was peak LeBron James, in my opinion. So I would have to say the 45, 15, and 5 game 6 in the Boston Garden from LeBron James is the greatest game I've ever watched.
See, and this is the thing. This is going to be tough to debate this one because there's so many different performances. There's so many, great LeBron performances as well. So we could literally do a whole topic on greatest LeBron performances we've ever seen. That's a good one. I'm probably supposed to be saying, oh, that's not the best one though, but that's a good one though. I do remember that being a young 8-year-old kid watching that game. That was a hell of a time for LeBron en route to, winning his first title. Brady, throw it up to you. Best playoff performance you've seen, a LeBron moment. What is it?
Yeah, so since there's so many playoff games since 2000, it's tough to narrow it down to just one. And I even might be missing some. So I certainly won't be getting into a heated debate about this one or anything. I'm going to go with LeBron when he scored 51 against the Warriors that ended up in a loss. But it was so completely not his fault that I'm still going to choose that game because he just dominated them like by himself and should have ended up in a win. That was probably the best, just visually pleasing performance I've seen in the playoffs. That's the game I believe that J.R. Smith did not know the score.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I'm very glad he didn't know the score, man, because the Warriors are my team and all. We had the super team going on. If anyone was to stop that team, it was LeBron James. And actually, LeBron James was really the one that kind of created it because they beat the 73 Warriors in 2015 and prompted Kevin Durant to move over there, win 2 titles in a row, all that good stuff. We know how that whole thing went down. But I mean, watching that game, that was unbelievable to see what LeBron did. And as a Warriors fan, I was on the edge of my seat. We're going to lose this game. This is, what a great way to start the series off, going down 0-1. We have a super team. LeBron basically is carrying a bunch of scrubs and Channing Frye. So, it is what it is. But when I'm looking at some of the greatest NBA playoff performances, obviously LeBron's, like you said, LeBron's game 1 in the finals, 2018 comes into mind. I also look at Donovan Mitchell in the bubble. In the first round of the bubble kind of gets lost in a lot of things because it was COVID. It was a really rough time for everybody in the world, but the NBA and just sports in general just brought it back together. He had 57 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. Random motherfuckers were going off in the bubble, dude. Just people that you never, like TJ Warren, like he had like a couple 50-point games. Didn't make any sense, but I mean, Donovan Mitchell just took over that game. Jimmy Butler last night, against the Bucks, he was in takeover mode, 56 points and 9 rebounds. But the greatest performance I think I've ever seen in the biggest stage was Giannis Antetokounmpo, Finals Game 6, 2021 versus the Phoenix Suns. He had 50 points, 14 rebounds, 5 blocks in a closeout game at home. Not to mention, remember Giannis back then? It takes him like 10 seconds to shoot a free throw. I mean, the man's like, it takes a free throw. Dude, 17 for 19 from the line that game. Like, he was historically not a good free throw shooter, and then he clutched up and won the Bucks a title. That was absolutely unbelievable to see what Giannis was able to do in the playoffs in Game 6 of the finals. But there wasn't much of a debate there when talking about everybody had really good points there. But I mean, we'll move on to the to the next one. So top 5 receivers in the 2010s of the NFL. Brady, give me your list. Doesn't have to be 1 through 5. Actually, if you want to make it 1 through 5 and make it a spicier list, go on ahead. But who's top 5 receivers in the 2010s in the NFL?
Okay, so I'll probably just go not necessarily a particular order, but just 5 guys. I'm gonna go Megatron, Antonio Brown, Julio, Larry Fitzgerald, and DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay.
And yeah, that's what we'll go with.
Yeah, all right. I don't know if Matt's having some difficulties down there. I'll give you my 5. I'm gonna go with Megatron at 1. I'll say AB 2. Actually, no, we'll flip that. We'll go Julio 2, AB 3. That's a tough one, though, I'll tell you that. Both of those guys have great seasons. Number 4 had AJ Green at there. I mean, I know I'm a Bengals fan, but I mean, I still think AJ Green was one of the best receivers in the National Football League during that time, and Larry Fitzgerald at number 5. I know DeAndre Hopkins has had a great run and all that stuff, but I mean, I think it was more late 2010s that he had that run than early 2020. So I'm gonna stick with that 5. I got AJ Green at 4. That's the difference on there. I don't know, Matt. Can you hear us? What do you think?
Yeah, I hear you. You guys got me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I had to come out here. I apologize. I don't know what's going on with my connection.
Oh, you're good.
Number 1, Megatron. I think he's one of the greatest receivers of all time. AB would be number 2 for me. Antonio Brown, also one of the greatest receivers of all time as well. I would say 3 through 5 kind of could vary. I'd say Julio Jones, Dez Bryant. Actually, he caught more touchdown passes from like 2010 to 2017 than anybody in the league. So I would say Dez Bryant. And then 5 was tough for me. I'm going to say Larry Fitzgerald just because I think he had a better career overall than AJ Green. But he's definitely right there. I mean, there's no doubt that he was in consideration for that 5th spot. Those would be my 5. I would say Larry Fitzgerald just because, I guess we did go of the 2010s. And Fitz has been around a little longer. So I guess you could have the argument that maybe AJ since, Fitz came in the league in like 05, 06, around that time, that you could maybe put that argument in there. But I'm just going to say Fitz at number 5 for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all could agree on the top 3, though. It was pretty, pretty good stuff there with, Megatron, AB, Julio. Those guys basically dominated the 2010s. I got to stand on the hill of AJ Green because AJ Green had to play with Andy Dalton for, his entire Bengals career, except the last year with Joe Burrow. Andy Dalton was so hot and cold and so dependent on AJ Green that, it was hard to watch at times. It was fun to watch at times, but AJ Green always found a way to produce. And I just found, obviously there's a great receiver in Larry Fitzgerald. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, drafted in, 2004, had a fantastic career. I just think that, AJ Green overall he had 7 straight 1,000-yard seasons to start his career, 7 Pro Bowls. He was, fantastic receiver, great hands, fantastic body control and all that stuff. So I got AJ Green in there. Again, I mean, it's just kind of debating a list. It's not really that hard, but I know this next topic we're going to get into is where we might get some sparks flying with this. So, okay. So, all right. We know LSU won the title, all right? And we want to take it into consideration that as Ohio State fans, and honestly, I think as college football fans in general, unless you're Clemson Addict, at Clemson Addict on Twitter, you would think that Ohio State got robbed in the college football playoff game in 2019. And we might have got robbed one of the greatest national championship matchups of all time. And me, Brady, and Matt talk about this, honestly, time and time again. Who would have won the game between Ohio State and LSU? And Brady and Matt, you guys agree. Who do you think's going to win that matchup if they played?
Matt, you can start us off.
And why?
I think 2019 Ohio State is the greatest Ohio State football team of all time, in my opinion. Especially from what I've seen in terms of, my age, being 25 years old, just watching it since I was like 5 years old. It's the best team I've ever seen as an Ohio State fan. Now, I do think I want to first off say give all the tons of credit to that LSU team because they're a historically great team as well. I just think if you take number one, we shot ourselves in the foot in the playoff game multiple times and still had a position we're still in the position to win the game. Okay. Number 2, we got screwed twice by the officiating in the playoff game.
Way more than
and
twice.
We're still
yeah.
Well, two really,
right?
Two huge calls.
2 historical.
But getting into the schematics of it, or maybe not necessarily the schematics, just the football reasoning behind it. I don't think LSU's defense would have been able to stop our running game as much as we would have been. We would have been able to force a couple of stops. Now, don't get me wrong, Joe Burrow. I mean, but we had, in my opinion, the second best player in college football that year, Chase Young. We had Justin Fields, J.K. Dobbins on the offensive side of the ball. The way we were able to run the ball and attack the line of scrimmage in 2019 on the offensive side of the ball was incredible. We haven't seen it since at Ohio State. Wyatt Davis, Josh Myers, guys like that up front, really, really anchoring the load up there. I don't think on the defensive side of the ball, LSU would have been able to hang in the trenches or, quite frankly, on the outside with some of the receivers we had either. I don't think they would have been able to get as many stops as we would have been able to on the defensive side of the ball. And don't forget now, a lot of people just kind of, with the way Ohio State's defenses have been in the past few years, they just kind of was Ohio State defense, whatever. Now that 19 defense, I mean, first rounders all over the board. Okay, Jeff Okudah, Chase Young, guys like that, other DBs, Damon Arnett. So like I said, I just feel like we would have been able to get a couple of stops where LSU – now, don't get me wrong. Throughout a football game, we're not going to score on every possession. Both teams are going to get a stop here and there. I just feel like we would have – in the crucial moments of the game, we would have been able to control the game with running the football, controlling the clock with J.K. Dobbins and Justin Fields, and we would have been able to force a couple more stops throughout the duration of the game. That's why I always say, this 2019 Ohio State, and we were just the best team in football that year. We were.
Brady, what do you think?
Yeah, so I also agree with that. And Matt already hit the points of the players. Obviously, both had that. Let me start this off by saying 2019 might have been the greatest teams, greatest year of teams in college football history. I mean, you've got Ohio State and LSU obviously being historically great. Obviously, that Clemson team was pretty dang good to be able to even compete with Ohio State and LSU. Bama didn't even make the playoffs. That team had 4 first-round receivers, 2 first-round quarterbacks, 3 first-round offensive. I mean, it was ridiculous. Didn't even make the playoffs. Oklahoma had highest-paid player of all time, Jalen Hurts, CeeDee Lamb, all those guys. So this year was a great year of teams, all right? These two are obviously the 2 best. People tend to forget that, weren't familiar with that Ohio State team. Teams outside of the Big Ten tend to forget just how incredibly dominant that team was. Throughout the year, there was a bunch of debate between these 2 teams. And Ohio State started to steal the nod in that debate, even with the dominance and the margin of victory towards the end of the season. All right, so these 2, had separated. Then we get to the Big Ten championship, SEC championship weekend, and we play Wisconsin. We're in position to be the number 1 team, as long as we take care of business and something crazy doesn't happen in the LSU Georgia game. So we play Wisconsin, who we'd already beaten 38-7, and we kind of struggle at the beginning because that when you play a team twice, not easy. We end up winning by double digits still. So it was a good game, but Georgia lost to LSU by 28. It was a easy win for LSU. LSU took care of business. And then it's okay, who are they going to put at number 1? It was a debate, and they went with LSU. So now we're playing Clemson, who was much better than Oklahoma, while LSU plays Oklahoma and just destroys them. And we all know what happened in that Clemson game. Looked like we were going to blow them out. Shaun Wade targeting call. Everything changes. Clemson couldn't do anything on offense again, or stop our offense up to that point whatsoever. And then Shaun Wade came out, and we had a liability come in. Amir Reep gave up some big plays. All right. I just feel like throughout the year, people forgot that we had the best defense in the country that year, and our offense was probably the second best in the country. Whereas, obviously, LSU had a historically great offense. Best offense in the country. Great team. I would give – in terms of the teams, I would give LSU the nod at quarterback, although we had the second best quarterback in the country. Ohio State's rushing game was better, obviously, with JK. Receivers would be LSU for sure, although Ohio State had some good young talent with Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave being young guys. And then you had KJ Hill, Alston Mack being some good veterans. Tight end, it's about even. I'd probably say Ohio State had the better tight end, but LSU used their tight end more. Thad Moss didn't end up being much, but he was pretty decent that year due to their scheme. And then offensive line, both had good O-lines. Ours were the better run block O-line. Theirs was the better pass block O-line, so we'll give a draw. And then you hit the defensive side of the ball, and it's almost a sweep for Ohio State, except linebackers might be about a dead even draw. Both had some solid linebackers on the team.
It's a sweep. It's a sweep.
Let me say this.
It's a sweep.
No, I'm not. So I agree. I agree. But let's think about this real quick. All right. So LSU plays in the best conference in college football. We could throw the numbers out there about Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, all those guys. Joe Burrow, 76% completion percentage against the SEC. Holy shit.
It's not the best defensive conference, though.
But it's still the best conference in college. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, obviously, you talk Big Ten, the best defensive, all that. It's the best conference, man. It's the best conference in college football all around. Dude, for almost 6,000 yards, 60 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Their backs were against the wall a couple times, and you could be like, oh, that shows they have weakness and all that, but they prevailed. They had Auburn, who was number 9 at the time, come into Tiger Stadium and they beat them 23-20. Backs were against the wall. You got to win those tough games as as a national championship team like that. Ohio State did the same thing, and I know they rolled their opponents as well. But LSU got the opportunity to play Alabama, and let's not forget that LSU walked into Bryant-Denny Stadium and they were rolling them in the first half. It was 33-13 at halftime. Burrow was rolling, Chase was rolling, Jefferson, the defense. They might have had a break or two there, but they were still flying around the football pretty well. When it looks to games and all that stuff, and then if you think about the seeding and all that, I see the talk. You think about the seeding and all that stuff. LSU got to play Oklahoma. All right, LSU got an easy 60 points on them. Ohio State. Here's the thing. I know I'm a big Ohio State fan and all that, but man, like I know we had 2 really bad calls go our way, but damn it, like what happened though? Like did we just get stuck in our own ways and just kind of start blaming the refs for stuff? I'm not trying to be like.
Well, obviously we shot ourselves in the foot, but yeah. J.K. Dobbins got injured that game. And
I know J.K. Dobbins got it, but I'm just saying, man, like there's gotta in a game like that. I mean, there's gotta be something else that comes. I know, I'm saying LSU faced some adversity and all that stuff. They played Clemson. They were down 10 early in the game, and they battled back, and they were able to air raid their way to a national championship game, to a national championship win actually. But there was just some times in adversity where LSU stepped up, and I know Ohio State, against Clemson, they, obviously some unfortunate things happened with J.K. Dobbins and all that. Don't get me wrong, I'm an Ohio State fan, but I'm just saying, man, like we didn't overcome stuff. LSU overcame stuff, and they won a national championship. And they had the greatest duo in college football. I mean, damn near ever. I'm not gonna lie, at receiver. Chase 84 for 1780 and 20 touchdowns. JJ 111 catches, 1540 and 18 touchdowns. I mean, I will say this. I'm going LSU. It's close, but I just don't think anybody's touching that offense, man. I know Ohio State's defense could have a good matchup against them, but damn it, I just didn't think they're not going to touch him. They just weren't going to touch him and all that. I mean, I just think I think Jamar Chase would have abused Jeff Okudah. I straight up think he would abuse him, but that's the thing. I know it's kind of talking about our perspectives on that. I mean, obviously they didn't get a chance to play, so we didn't get a chance to see that stuff. And I know Brady, you were talking about if those two teams play each other 10 times, it would probably be 5-5. So yeah, it would be close. 5-5, 6-4. I'd say.
How good do you think T. Higgins is, Chase?
I do have a counter. How good? Only because.
How good do you think T. Higgins is?
How good do I think T. Higgins is? Like, you talking about it right now?
I'm talking about how good do you think T. Higgins is? I don't give a shit. Just answer it.
Great receiver.
All right. Well, Jeff Okudah took his ass out of the game. So there's that one. I will say that.
Yeah.
Now, he's not – I'm not trying to say T. Higgins is as good as Jamar Chase. I'm not trying to say that.
They're different types.
It's pretty damn close.
It's close. They're different types.
And Jeff Okudah took his ass out. So I will say that.
Jeff Okudah. Yeah, so it's fair. Like, obviously, Chase was the best receiver that year. But Jeff Okudah was by far the best corner, too, by the same amount of margin, which obviously a good receiver usually wins that matchup.
Yeah.
And I know this is years later, but do we not remember Jeff Okudah absolutely clamping Jefferson this year, week 1 in the NFL, which obviously it's different. It's a couple years later.
Who would have guarded Justin Jefferson in the slot? Was it Shaun Wade?
I mean, Shaun Wade, but we would have had help on him. I mean, obviously they would have scored.
They have to double team. They have to double team JJ. They had to have help on him, and you're going to leave Okudah on an island with Chase.
Well, there's always help on a slot receiver, though. Like it wouldn't have been like an extra stunt, but that's the thing. They would have scored many times, but I mean, you brought up that Bama game, which like how they were shutting them out. Well, then they got absolutely smoked in the second defensively.
Yeah,
our offense would have done the same, in my opinion.
Yeah.
However, our defense was better than Bama's to get maybe a critical stop. Now, I'm not saying Ohio State absolutely wins this game, okay? And then also about the SEC thing. I mean, I'm comparing good team that each played.
There are bottom feeders. There's bottom feeders in every conference, but I know what you're saying.
They're bottom feeders.
Vanderbilt's not in the Big Ten, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Right. I'm not saying like that. So, like, I'm more comparing what LSU did against, let's say, Georgia,
Yeah.
and what Ohio State did against a team like Wisconsin, who that year were similar. Obviously, Georgia now is better than Wisconsin by far. But that year, they were both top 6, something like that. Georgia was like 7. Wisconsin was like 6 or 8. They were close. And I'm more of comparing those games.
Yeah.
And these were the 2 best conferences, obviously, by far, that particular season.
Yep.
So it's really tough to do. So, like –
Tough, yeah.
Yeah, so LSU offense absolutely going to do good things against our defense. It would be the only offense that could explode against our defense in the country.
Yep.
However, I think we also absolutely pound their throats.
Yeah.
And I think Chase Young gets to Joe Burrow a good amount, and it really helps the DBs that game. As well as Baron Browning. People forget he was on that team off the edge. Posted the single highest single game presser percentage in NFL history. We should have used him more as an edge rusher in college, which is kind of disappointing. But we did sometimes that year, and he was good at it. So, yeah, that's about all I have.
It's a tough thing to debate. I mean, it's a fun thing to debate. Don't get me wrong. It is, and talk about and all that stuff. I mean, obviously we have, when it's just the 3 of us watching, old Ohio State games and we're just talking about all this stuff. I mean, it's, we could talk about that for a while and all that. But
I just get pissed off because we're never going to be able to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. We were all robbed of it. You know what I'm saying? We were all robbed of this fantastic game that was going to be in the Superdome. So I mean, that's the thing that sucks about it and all that. But I mean, we all remember those were easily the 2 best teams in 2019. I want to bounce it down to 2 quarterbacks in the draft class of 2018. These are 2 best quarterbacks from that draft class. Who's had a better career so far, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson? I know, Matt, you like actually. Who do you like, Matt? Who do you like from these 2 quarterbacks?
I mean, as you're asking, so I think Josh Allen's a better player, but I do think Lamar has had the better career. They both really haven't had a ton of – they haven't made the Super Bowl, neither one.
Yep.
So they both have won a decent amount. Or I think Lamar maybe has won 1 or 2 playoff games, only 1 or 2. Say Josh Allen's, 3, okay, whatever. I don't know the exact numbers.
Yep.
1 and 3. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep.
So, but neither of them have made a Super Bowl. But it's hard to be voted the most valuable player in professional football, and Lamar Jackson has done that. So it's not really a crazy hot take. I think Josh Allen is going to have the better career moving forward, and I think he's a better player. But so far, I would go with Lamar.
You go with Lamar in this one. Let me throw some numbers out here for you. I know they're different types of – well, we say different types of quarterbacks. They're different types of builds, but in some ways they do play the same. They, Josh Allen plays a bit more careless and reckless and all. Lamar Jackson does play pretty smart, but they do run the football a lot. Josh Allen has 6,000 more career passing yards. He's only played in 7 more games. So, I mean, that's a big jump right there. 37 more passing touchdowns, 14 more rushing touchdowns than Lamar Jackson. That's a stat that probably will surprise some people. Josh Allen's 4-4 in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson's 1-3 in the playoffs. Lamar got curb stomped by the Titans in the season where he was the MVP, and they hosted the divisional round playoff game and absolutely folded under pressure. And the big thing that I would say that separates them right now, they're both fantastic players. Do not get me wrong by that. The thing that separates them right now is that Josh Allen, he's available. He's straight up available. Lamar Jackson didn't get hurt by running the football, but, he's missed the last 5 games of each of the last 2 seasons when his team needed him most. And Josh Allen has been available, and Josh Allen's been balling. That's why I got Josh Allen there. Brady, what do you got in this one?
Yeah, I'll start this off by saying Lamar Jackson is a good player. I like watching him. He's fun to watch. Very, very electric, which does matter.
Great player. Great player.
Yeah, it depends what your definition of great is, but yeah, he is very good.
I'm sorry for all the folks at home. I love Lamar Jackson, and they know I love Lamar Jackson. But
he does. He's a Lamar guy. So yeah, I love Lamar as well. Definitely like his personality. Seems like a cool dude. Definitely injured a lot.
Yeah.
Now, do I think he has an argument for being a top 5 quarterback? I really don't think he is. Maybe an argument, but I don't think he is. So I'm definitely going to go with Josh Allen here. Sorry, Matt, but I just think Josh Allen. It's
not talking about future. We're saying career so far. You know what I mean?
Well, I know, but Lamar has the MVP, so Lamar has the MVP, which is big, but it's like with the eye test, who do I think has done a better job leading their teams to wins? I think Lamar has.
I think Josh Allen's a better player right now.
I think Lamar has a really good coaching staff.
It's a hard thing, man. It's hard because you think about it. Lamar has a better win percentage, but Lamar doesn't come up in the playoffs. No. Lamar's won an MVP, but Josh Allen's thrown for 6,000 more passing yards, and he's ran for 14 more rushing touchdowns, which is Lamar's specialty. So it's really hard to balance. That's why this is a question. You know?
Yeah. I just think he separates himself with his ability to throw the football. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's where I think the separation is too. And Matt, I think we all love Lamar Jackson as a player. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Bengals fan. I absolutely despise the Ravens, but I do enjoy watching Lamar Jackson play. Actually, a new question coming up. Aaron Rodgers is a part of the Jets. Who's the top 5 quarterbacks in the AFC? You know, think about it. You got Mahomes, Burrow, all those guys out there. Who are the top 5 if you had to rank them right now?
Mahomes, number 1.
Burrow.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, we kind of went at the same time.
No, you're fine.
Got it. Go.
Mahomes.
Yep.
Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
Allen.
Okay.
Herbert.
Oh.
And I'll say Lamar.
Wow. Rodgers not even top 5 in there?
No.
Wow.
I would say Rodgers is arguably 7th.
Oh, who's 6?
Possibly Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence right now?
Jesus Christ.
Possibly.
Trevor Lawrence is good, but damn it, dude. Rodgers.
Matt, you've made fun of me acting like I love Trevor Lawrence in our private chats before. I could pull him up, but I shouldn't.
It's
impossible.
Rodgers' bad season was 26 touchdowns and 12 picks, which was last year on a Green Bay Packers team where they took his number
possibly.
1. You said possibly, but I still think he's top 5 in that thing, man.
Brady doesn't like Trevor Lawrence.
He doesn't like Trevor Lawrence.
You've told me I love him. Which one is it? Which one?
Is it love-hate? I don't know.
I have private chat where you said a lot more, like where you said some very interesting stuff about.
Oh my gosh.
About that.
Oh, you do love Trevor. You got a thing for Trevor.
No, what are you talking about? You just said I didn't. Okay, never mind. Let's go back.
I would say there's 7 AFC guys that kind of separate.
I agree. Yeah,
and those 7 are there. Those 7 are those guys right there.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with that too. I just don't.
I don't think it's outlandish to say. I think you guys are being a little harsh on it. I don't think it's outlandish to say that Trevor Lawrence is going to be better than Aaron Rodgers this year. I don't think that's crazy to say at all. Actually,
whatever. You can say
Aaron Rodgers is about to be 40 years old. And don't get me wrong, Aaron Rodgers is probably one of the 3 or 4 greatest quarterback talents we've ever seen. Maybe the most talented quarterback talent we've ever seen. Maybe. So don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to discredit that. He's almost 40 years old. He's on a new team. He's clearly a weirdo. Like, he's disconnected from everything.
Yeah.
He goes and does this weird. Honestly, he is.
I know. Yeah.
Let's not act like. I don't think it's outlandish to say that Trevor Lawrence is going to have a better year this year. I don't at all.
That's facts. I know Trevor Lawrence said he's got a great cast. I'll tell you that. He's got a great cast. He's already built with those guys there. I just think that I just think Rodgers walking in there, I think this is going to be a great fit for this year for him. Garrett Wilson and Allen.
I hope it is. I hope Garrett Wilson has the hell of a year with Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly. Brady, who's your top 5 in the AFC for quarterbacks right now?
Number 1, Mahomes. 2, Burrow. 3, Allen. 4, Rodgers. And 5, Justin Herbert. Matt's
call me absurd. I have Rodgers. That list I sent you guys earlier. I think I have short-term memory loss when it comes to thinking about this list overall. I gotta check, dude. What the hell did I even say earlier?
That's the thing, though. It's like all this.
It's interchangeable.
Situation matters so much.
We worry. It's interchangeable. It really.
What's up?
Twitter. I think it was Twitter.
I don't know.
I think it was Twitter we were talking about it. I think. I can't even remember. I think. I said Aaron was 3, actually. I said Aaron was 3. I think walking in, I think Aaron's going to be arguably the best quarterback in that division in the AFC East. I know, Josh Allen. Then they got to find.
I put Aaron at 5 earlier, and then I changed my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I had Pat and Joe are
So
1 and 2.
Initially, I had Aaron at 5.
Yeah.
Initially, I had Aaron at 5, so I changed my mind a little bit.
Yeah, I think Pat's 1. Obviously, I mean, he's the best quarterback in football. It's not that hard. Burrow 2. I think Aaron with the new revitalized start. I think he's going to play really inspired football. So I got him at 3. Josh Allen close 4. I actually had Lamar at 5.
Wow.
So
yeah,
Herbert hasn't proved. I mean, Herbert's been a great quarterback, and I had him at 4. This thing is so, you could shift this all around, but Herbert hasn't proven shit. He hasn't proven shit yet. All right. Can he come up this year?
I mean, fuck.
Yeah. Hasn't proven shit, And then I got Herbert at 6, and I got Trevor at 7. So, it can. I just don't think. I think Herbert's better than Trevor, but it's such a weird dynamic. Like you said, it's the 7 quarterbacks in the AFC that you can kind of moving around. I think 1 and 2 are pretty set, and these damn near might be the 7 best quarterbacks in the National Football League. When we talk about it.
They might be.
They might be though. They might all reside in the AFC, and it's a crazy thing to think about. Let me show this real quick, Scotty. I heard this show is pretty high on DJ.
Yeah, I think this is quite the DJ Turner type of group. When you look at this show, you just think, man, I bet one of these 3 picked DJ Turner to go 19th overall to the Buccaneers.
I bet he did. And Matt, what do you got to respond to Scotty with?
No response.
No response. Oh, okay. Expect the text, Scotty.
Everybody knows I choked on it. He just wants to be a little cocksucker. That's all it is.
Oh, man. All right. We're going to shift gears. All right. We're going to get back to quarterbacks in a second. Let's talk about blue bloods of college basketball. Matt, if you don't want to participate in this one,
I'm fucking participating.
Okay. Well, you were saying earlier, you were like, I don't do college basketball. I'm not
now I'm pissed off.
All right. Now you're pissed off.
All right. Give me your top college basketball programs, Matt.
Yeah, give me your blue bloods, Matt.
This is easy as shit. Like, this is the easiest shit
cool.
ever.
There you go. All right, cool.
Carolina, Duke, Kentucky, UCLA, and Kansas. That's it. There's no debate.
There's no debate. All right. Well, I got UConn in there, man. UConn won their 5th national championship. Fuck you. UConn won their 5th national championship, and they won it 5 in the last 25 years. I mean, come on, man. That's a nice space, but it's
LSU's won 3 national championships in the last 20 years in college football. They're not a blue blood.
I mean, okay. Basketball, dude, it's like there's 64 teams in the tournament. Well, 68 teams in the tournament every single year. There's some ridiculous shit that happens. All right. And UConn's made it to the pinnacle 5 times, and they've won it all 5 times.
They're a great program, but they're not
25 years. They're a blue blood now. I think they're a blue blood now. I mean, I agree with everything else that was said. If you had to take one of those 5 out of Duke, Carolina, Kentucky, UCLA, and Kansas, who would you take out?
Probably that sucks. That really does suck. I would say Kentucky. Unfortunately, I would say Kentucky. I think the early success of UCLA winning all those titles in a row is just so ingrained in the sport that you just can't remove it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so ingrained. Now, of recent era, of the past 20 years, UCLA has been the worst program of the 5. But I would say if I had to take one out, it'd be Kentucky.
All right, Brady, who's your list of blue bloods?
So Matt, you're gonna like this. I'm gonna take his 5 with UConn and Indiana being close. I just think consistency across all eras matters quite a bit. Which UConn's had some great success and won those 5 championships and have won on some really big runs, but they just have so many off years to where, and so does UCLA. But they have 11 championships, so they would be my 5th. They're hanging on by a thread to me. So I would disagree with Matt in that way. I think that Kentucky's better than UCLA as a program, but UConn's really good too. And then the 4, I think the top 3 are Carolina, Duke, and Kansas. I think those are the 3 best.
Who's number 1?
I'm going. You're not making me pick this because
fuck Carolina, dude. Fuck them, Duke.
Carolina's no shot. Carolina,
Duke. Duke.
Carolina. Okay, give me your research. You're not going to pull up anything.
I just like Duke better than Carolina, and I think.
Oh, okay. So you don't have a reason why they're actually better all the time, though,
Dude,
because Carolina leads everything over Duke.
Okay, good job. All right, whatever.
Carolina's number one. Way
Good
better than
job.
Duke.
All right, yeah.
Get that Duke stuff out of here.
I
bro.
just wanted to give my Duke praise, man. I like Duke more than Carolina. I just got to say it straight up with the straight face. There you go.
That means
Hey, numbers don't lie. I'm not gonna give you wrong, right? But I'm not a big Carolina fan. Shit.
that's fine, but
Yeah.
they're better than Duke. That's all I'm saying. That's
All right. Cool. All right. Well, go back to quarterbacks. Matt. All right, Matt, second best quarterback in NFL history. Who you taking? If he's there.
Matt.
You there, Matt? He's popping on his phone. All right. You hear Matt?
Yeah, my fucking Wi-Fi is fucking up. I'm sorry.
You're good.
What was just said? What was the argument there?
Second? Well, I don't even know. I just said that I like Duke better than North Carolina, just in general. So,
Well, the question though was, which is the best program?
yeah, which was the
Best program?
Yeah, it was what was the best program, and I said, Duke. He said North Carolina, even though North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to give some North Carolina slander, but. Anywho, the next question is second best quarterback in NFL history, Matt. What are you looking at if he unfreezes? Actually, I'll go to you, Brady. Who's second best quarterback in NFL history?
I'd probably go with Peyton Manning on this one.
Okay. Yeah,
it's close between him and a couple others, Joe Montana, and honestly, Aaron Rodgers. I understand his playoff choking, but I feel like his ability to be clutch throughout many eras. He has won Super Bowl, and he's had good supporting cast. I'm not going to say he doesn't have as good a supporting cast as the other guys. But he's another guy I actually considered for this spot. But I'm going with Peyton Manning. Just put up unbelievable numbers, won multiple Super Bowls, and is just second to Tom Brady, in my opinion. Like he's just the second guy that pops up in my head.
Straight up, I agree. Peyton Manning, revolutionary when it comes to running an offense. I mean, the Lynn literally has a whole catalog fit in his forehead when it comes to making checks and coming up to the line of scrimmage, audibles. I mean, obviously the quarterback's got to know where everybody's going to go on each play, but Peyton Manning just took it to another level. He inherited a bad team. Let's not forget that. I know Matt likes – you like number 15 from Kansas City as number 2 all time, right?
I do. I think Mahomes is the second best quarterback to ever live already.
I think you're full of shit right now.
I don't really care.
You really don't care? Well, let me just say this. All right, Patrick Mahomes, I think if he wins in the Super Bowl, I think he'll be second all time, but he hasn't yet. He's won 2. Good job for him. He can fuck off from this past AFC Championship game.
He won 2 as the best player. Like Peyton Manning's the second Super Bowl. Let's be real about it now. Both of your guys' pick. Let's be real. He was heavily carried by a great defense in Denver.
But let's also think
Oh, he
about
was.
let's think about the upcoming of Peyton Manning and Patrick Mahomes. Peyton Manning was the number 1 overall pick. He went as being the number 1 overall pick. You go to the worst team in the National Football League. And Peyton Manning had to go through some of the shittiest years possible in Indianapolis to come out of things and to go on ahead and win a Super Bowl, win 2 Super Bowls. I know, his Super Bowl came later on in his career. Patrick Mahomes, he inherited a 12-4 football team. I mean, he was already, Travis Kelce was there. Tyreek Hill was there. All this shit was there. So
when you look at him, who's the better player? Like, that's just what I'm looking at right now. Now, Super Bowls matter. Super Bowls matter. Don't get me wrong.
Well, he just
Just
left.
the
That's
best.
back. All right.
Jesus Christ. I'm sorry,
You're
guys.
good. You're good. Keep going.
Like I said, comes down to you got to have a combination of achievements and whoever's just the best player. Watching them play, I just don't even think it's close between Mahomes and Peyton Manning in terms of who's the better player. Like I was shocked that Manning was even second on either of your lists. He's top 5 for me, no doubt.
Yeah.
I think you could have made a better argument for Rodgers and Joe Montana, just because Joe Montana was probably widely considered the GOAT before Brady ended up coming around and getting all the Super Bowls he had. You know what I mean? I'm a little surprised that you guys went with Manning.
But voted among his peers, Peyton Manning did win the MVP, I believe. I think he won it 3 or 4 times. I mean, he was considered the best player among his peers 3 or 4 times, almost a handful of times. Inherited a bad team. He set the NFL touchdown record in a single season, not once, but twice. He did it with 49 touchdowns in 04, and then 10 seasons later in 13 with another team, I might add, 55 touchdown passes, and he's the first quarterback to win Super Bowls with multiple teams. Him and Tom Brady did. All right, I know Peyton Manning, 18 years, 18-year career. Patrick Mahomes is only 6 years, about to be 7 in his career. I certainly think this could change if, I think Patrick Mahomes has to win another Super Bowl. But right now, Peyton Manning's second all time. Patrick Mahomes is up there, but I don't want to hear Patrick Mahomes being the second quarterback, second best quarterback of all time anymore until he wins another Super Bowl.
I've got to change my pick.
You're gonna change
Tyler Buckner out of the transfer portal.
What the?
He's the second best quarterback of all time.
I'm taking Wilton Speight.
So much
Wilton
talent.
Speight.
Will
He has
Speight.
so much talent. According to
I'm a Shea Patterson fan.
my second arch nemesis, Indy Recruiting 01. He's nowhere near my first. Clemson Addict. This dude, Indy Recruiting 01. Every time I know Notre Dame gets a recruit, he's extremely underrated, according to him. I just watched this guy's film. He could be a 5-star. But then he comes to college. He thought Tyler Buckner was the next coming of Christ out of high school.
Dude, we're gonna have so much fun doing that Ohio State Notre Dame.
I can't wait.
We're gonna have so much fun with that. I
Can't wait to talk about Sam Hartman.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, Tyler Buckner, my number 2
Yep.
quarterback of all time.
Okay, nice. We got 2 more things on the docket. Rolling through, man. We're doing some sports debates, all that stuff. I mean, not really debate, just kind of lounging around, talking shit. So let's get our top 5 Ohio State football players of all time. This is a tough one. I'm actually just gonna go first. You guys can call me crazy all you want, but I'll go Orlando Pace, Archie Griffin, Eddie George, Chris Spielman, and Troy Smith. Fuck it. You guys got it.
Yeah, I'm not seeing enough. That's not bad. They're great players. I'm just not seeing enough modernness, which I know you don't have to have modern people on this list.
Yeah, that's true. But
I tried to, just in case, spread out the airs a little bit and adapt and
it's a tough line to adjust. It is.
Yeah, put into perspective those guys. So I've actually got an order. Okay. I'm going to use my order just because I wanted to make it clear. So I have 1, Pace, greatest offensive lineman in college football history.
Yep.
2, Chase Young, greatest defensive end, especially for a single season, ever. 3, Eddie George, Heisman running back, insanely dominant. 4, Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman. Would put him a little bit behind Eddie because I just don't think he was as good as Eddie, straight up. But he was really good. He won 2 Heismans. But I feel like Eddie had the more dominant Heisman season by quite a bit. And then 5, I have, you got to put the most important position, quarterback. I have Justin Fields.
I knew we weren't getting a list from Brady without Justin Fields on it.
Had to.
Brady loves him some Justin Fields. I'll tell you that. He also loves some Trevor Lawrence. I'm just kidding, man. All right,
Justin Fields. Hey. Oh, by the way, I need to call this out, not to you guys, but to everybody.
All right.
When it's all said and done, Justin Fields will be better than Trevor Lawrence.
Really?
Okay.
I mean, it's not like I'm going super bold there. I'm not saying he's going to be better than Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
But he'll be better than Lawrence.
Okay. All right. Matt, what do you got?
The number 1 number 1, I have Orlando Pace, the greatest offensive lineman in the history of college football. At number 2, Chase Young, the greatest defensive end in the history of the sport.
I told you would have him the other guy. You tried to say I was.
But he was saying that there's 2 guys that should be on that list.
I was saying there was 2 guys that were going to be on the list no matter what. I wasn't saying
that's what he was saying.
Keep going.
I know you're saying that.
That wasn't. I get where you're coming from too, Brady. I wasn't saying those are my top 2.
Yeah,
I was saying that those. Yeah. I was saying that those 2 were going to be on the list, no matter regardless, everybody's list. You know what I mean? 3, Eddie George. I agree with Brady. I think Eddie was a better player than Archie Griffin. That doesn't take away from the accomplishments that Archie had. But I just think if you put him in the same backfield, Eddie was the better player. 4, Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. And number 5, Chris Spielman, the best linebacker in the history of Ohio State. So those are your top 5.
Yeah, I think Spielman gets lost in I know he played back in the 90s, I believe. I mean, he just gets lost. His name just gets lost in all this stuff. I know we talk about Orlando Pace. Obviously, this is the greatest Buckeye of all time. That's unanimous. All of that. The 2 running backs.
I don't even think it's unanimous, which is crazy. I really don't. I think I think like the most casual Buckeyes are always going to say Archie just because he won 2 Heisman, and he's a running back. You know what I mean?
Amongst us, it's unanimous. But
absolutely.
We're just
like the real fans. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you got to look deeper into it and all that. And I mean, it's why I have Archie so high on my list is literally from the 2 Heisman. I think, I think when you're looking, more modernized. I mean, obviously Eddie George's game was more modernized, stuff like that. But I mean, it's still. It's the thing with Archie Griffin, dude. That's
Archie Griffin scored a touchdown 2 weeks ago.
he scored.
That's how good that motherfucker is. He's almost fucking 80 and running for touchdowns.
For touchdowns at Ohio Stadium, still, man. I mean, shit. It's tough, but yeah, I think Chris Spielman, man, he's so underrated. I think he's got to be inside that 5. I didn't give 1 through 5, but I'm just saying those were the 5, and I know, I don't know. I think Troy Smith ran the system so well. Obviously, I know you could put Justin Fields in there. I think with my list, I was just, so caught up in the history aspect when it came to that. And like, it's a tough thing to be like, man, this dude played 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I'm putting him in top 5 all time. But when you sit back and look at it, he's up there. Chase Young's in there, obviously. Fields is up
he's
there.
The best. He's the best. Like we have 2 players. We have 2 players that I don't even think are it's not even arguable.
Yeah, dude. It's
2 positions that we have the best in the history of the sport at.
Yeah.
The defensive end and offensive tackle, left tackle. We have the 2 best players in the history of the sport there.
And it's, for myself, it's a tough thing because I'm like, I mean, I'm not, you guys are deep dive Ohio State fans. I am a big Ohio State fan. You guys are another level Ohio State fans. And I just, didn't contextualize that when it came to that. But I mean, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to kind of be like, man, this dude is the best already, 2 years after he played. But when you're that good, man.
When you're looking at the historical context, it's weird because like just 2 years ago, like, Justin Fields is going to be our quarterback. How will he be? And then like he's over. It's like, wow, like he may have gelled as been the best QB we've ever had, but it's like hard word.
It's weird. It's weird.
Him and Troy Smith had similar careers in a way. Like they both. Well, one of them had a Heisman, but I mean, to be fair, like Justin had a little bit better competition to beat him for the Heisman, and they both lost a national title game. It's just crazy how similar they were. I think those, in my opinion, are our 2 best quarterbacks ever.
Yeah.
Dude, there's one guy that's a little, we were saying he was soft. He was just our quarterback a few months ago. That could have been on this list if he would have beaten the one team we wanted him to beat at least once, but he didn't.
He didn't even have that. He had an opportunity to make it on this list without even beating.
He had an opportunity to be like top 3 on this list because he
had an opportunity to be on this list without even beating that team once.
Man, he beats Georgia, man. I mean, they give us the natty already.
He wins we win a natty. I mean,
give us the the trophy in Atlanta.
Right, yeah. I would have had to do some really hard thinking on that because he would have jumped like fucking 20 spots on everybody.
Oh yeah,
so there's a guy that none of us put on this list that kind of surprises me.
Really?
That nobody put on this list, and that happens to be Ezekiel Elliott from the 2013 seasons to 2015 seasons.
I think DK was a better back than Kyle.
I just
think he had a better season.
That's not true. I just wanted to say that. You can think that it's all close, but the reason I'm surprised, I didn't put him on there either. He would have probably been like 6th or 7th, along with Spielman. They're both up there.
Definitely top 10 for sure.
Oh yeah, but I mean, this dude single-handedly against like the 3 best defenses in college football that weren't us ran for over 200 yards, 3 straight games. I mean, Bama hadn't given up on a 100-yard game yet to a back, and he ran for 236.
That was the greatest 3-game run by an Ohio State player in history.
Yeah. It might have been the greatest 3-game stretch by a running back.
In college football, that is, I mean, that's unbelievable.
Right, and then just to go on the next year, rush for I don't know, a lot of yards. I don't know the exact number because I don't got it under me. It was a bunch.
Yeah.
And then be a number 4 pick in the draft, have a great career. I just think it's kind of surprises me that none of us put him in there. But anyways, I think he would be right outside of both of our lists. I just wanted to bring him up as kind of like
I think both Bosa's are in the top 10 as well. So.
Dude, if Nick played us, I'm not even gonna say it, dude. It makes my gut hurt. Makes my gut hurt.
Oh man,
because like Nick has blown up in the league, but really like he was just like a really good player for us. Like he didn't have.
He was Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year.
That's what I'm saying. Like he was a really good player, but like he was never he didn't even start, and he was Defensive Player of the Year. He wasn't.
Well, the reason he didn't start.
He wasn't on the first defensive snap.
He still played the most snaps out of all the.
I know he did, but I'm just saying. Like
I know what you're saying. You're right. You're absolutely right.
It's crazy to think that. You know what I mean?
It was. That 2018 season was when he was like the feature player of college football.
That's what I'm saying. He never got his featured year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
Chase had his feature year in 19. Like
Joey had
your third year is usually your feature year. He just never had it, so it just really sucks. I mean,
it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate to think about, and obviously, I want to take. I mean, obviously, it's a great thing that we had Nick Bosa. I don't want to, take the bad times haunting that we're like, we didn't get to see him play a third year. Let's transition to this. All right. 3 best tournaments in sports. I was going to say, what's the best tournament in sports? And I think me and Brady would have agreed. I don't know what Matt would have said, but what are the 3 best tournaments?
Dude, Matt agrees. Matt knows it.
He should.
I know what I'm going to say.
All right, Matt, what do you got? What are the 3 best tournaments?
The NCAA tournament is the best tournament.
There you go.
I'm going to go a little bit out of my comfort zone here, just take an unbiased approach. Okay. I'm going to say the Masters is the second best tournament. I'm going to say probably – now, my favorite is the college football playoff. That's my favorite.
Okay.
But I'm going to say the NFL playoffs is the third best. So there's your top 3 right there.
Masters at 2. How come?
Masters at 2. I just think it's just like so historically relevant, and everybody is always talking about it. Like it's something crazy that everybody's always talking about it, and it's a one-time event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a one-weekend deal. The NFL playoff, like there's something about it being a one-weekend deal where it only matters for a couple days. You know what I mean? The NCAA tournament is a month or so, a couple weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
And the NFL playoffs goes a couple weeks. Like it's just everybody's watching the Masters.
Yeah.
Everybody's watching the Masters for that weekend. You know what I mean? So that's why I say the Masters.
Gotcha. Brady, what's yours? Top 3.
My number 1, definitely NCAA tournament. Pretty easy. Just the excitement for those, especially the first 2 days, is unreal. You're just watching these games, waiting for upsets to happen, looking at your bracket. It's spring, weather's getting better. Pretty easy number 1 for me. Number 2, I'm not going to choose the Masters because I'd be lying if I said I watched a second of that thing ever. Just because I like it more, I'm going to choose the college football playoff because obviously it's less games, so it's probably a worse setup than the NFL playoffs, and I'll be honest. But it feels like the magnitude of the semifinal games are just so huge. That national championship, it's just I enjoy that more, so I'm going to go that too. And then the NFL playoffs, I still like to watch. Definitely a good setup. Definitely also rounds up my top 3.
The playoffs make it that much better when your team is in it, and it also makes it that much somewhat more frightening, I would say. But I'll say this. March Madness 1, don't need to explain. Already got that down. Unbelievable madness. You get it. Number 2, I got the NFL playoffs. So, I watched the Bengals play the Ravens on Sunday Night Football in the playoffs. And if anything, watching Sunday Night Football, that's that's one thing. Waiting all day for Sunday night. You see all the teams play, and then there's a pregame show for literally just your game, and then you play. Imagine that for a playoff game. I know it's an unbelievable feeling. There are, the way the NFL has constructed the playoffs as well has been fantastic. They've done 4:30 Saturday, 8:15 Saturday, 3 games Sunday at the normal times, and a Monday Night Football playoff game. And then they've just set it up really, really well. And that's why I got them at 2. I think the magnitude for each and every playoff game is through the roof. I know there's some matchups that, a 2 versus 7, might not be the greatest matchup in the world, but most of them so far have lived up to the hype since they've expanded the field back in 2020. So I'm going to go NFL playoffs at 2. And then I got the NBA playoffs at 3. It's kind of a hit and miss each year and all that. But I mean, when you're looking at the playoffs, there's guys that'll play 65 games in the regular season, guys that'll play 50 games in the regular season. But if you have LeBron, KD, Booker, Jason Tatum, all those guys are playing inspired basketball in the first round all the way through to the finals. What better can you get with that from guys at the highest level of basketball, getting rest every 2 nights, trying to put on their best performance, go in there and get themselves a dub to move on and win 16 games to win the NBA finals. I got the finals at 3. So, yeah. Why the college football playoff at 2, Brady?
Mostly because the NBA finals to me is too many games. I don't really watch. I haven't been watching. I'll be honest. It's not that I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's that I don't really get into it until the actual finals where there's 2 teams left. I really like that. I enjoy watching the last few games for sure. It's fun, but especially when it's a really good year of the college football playoffs, when you got a team like a matchup like Ohio State, Georgia this year, even Michigan, TCU. I'll just use this year as an example.
Yeah.
I mean, those games were unbelievable games. I mean, the excitement, the magnitude, the amount of and I just like football better in general, especially.
I do too.
That's why I have to take that as I like college football better than the NBA. So it's definitely a personal thing. And I don't like an NBA team as well. That's what I'll say. Like, I don't have a team in the NBA, whereas college, like, I obviously have a team. So, like, it's different. It's a lot different. And also, the first round means a lot more, obviously, because you go straight to the championship in the college football playoffs. So it's a lot different. The college football has the best regular season in sports. But the tournament, I'll be honest, the tournament format isn't quite as deep as some of these other ones for that reason. It's what you got to give up. You win some, you lose some. But I still love it enough to put it number 2. So that's all.
You said college football is the best regular season on all the sports?
Oh,
the sports that I care about.
Yes. Not even close. I don't even think it's close.
Really?
Every week it matters. Every week it matters. Especially
if you lose a game, you could be done.
If you lose a game, you could be out.
Unless we got a special situation this year, but usually
that doesn't.
It's a balance though. You lose 1 game or 2 games, you're done. But we all know about who is going to make it to the last week or so. We all know.
But that's what makes it so exciting. You watching Alabama every week. Boom, but he beats them. Boom, LSU beats them. Huge moment. Alabama's out.
That's true. But then again,
you watch it. There's not as much parity in college football.
That's
I will say that.
And
I understand that part. I understand that part. But
exactly,
there's always upsets. There's always
there is.
It's hard to be. Very rarely do you see the top 4 AP preseason ranked teams make it to the playoff.
I know.
You know what I mean? So there always is upsets. There's definitely less parity in college football. There's always those 7 or 8 elite programs that are. You know what I mean?
I wake up every Saturday.
It really comes down to this. It really comes down to, if you enjoy parity more, or what I'm saying. It just kind of depends on what you want or what you kind of like, draw toward. Brady, I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you saying there?
I was just gonna say, I just think that every Saturday I wake up and I worry that our season will be over, especially with this new dumb. Have you guys heard the new rule in college football? The clock continues.
There's been a couple. Oh yeah, first down.
Dude, that makes that. I feel like that causes. Yeah. My brother brought this up. I feel like that's going to cause more upsets, which is a little annoying for me. I'm going to be really nervous, even more nervous than I am because I wake up every Saturday, unless we're playing literally like Toledo or something. But if we're playing like a solid team, like even a 6-6 team,
that causes parity, and that's what they want to try to get out of it. And especially if they come into a 12-team field, that's also another thing.
It's different now too.
That can make the
different now.
playoff.
It's absolutely.
Yeah,
But it can
yeah.
it's going to make the playoff more exciting. It's going to make the regular season less exciting. Unless the first round games on site. Did I fuck up there? You guys got me.
Yeah, I got you now.
We got you. Yeah.
Because
Yep.
if you're because it's going to make the regular season, you're going to be playing every game no matter what, because you're going to be trying to have the home field advantage in the first round of the playoff.
But
If they go just neutral site for all the games, it makes the regular season in that scenario less important. So we'll see. I mean, it's going to be different. We'll see.
And the thing is, if if those teams are trying to play for that home site and all that stuff, who does that emulate? The National Football League.
Right, absolutely.
Who do you think has the best regular season in sports?
I mean, I know you can say this.
He's going to say the NFL. Yeah.
You know I'm going to say the NFL.
It's not no.
I just
I'll
think
say this. I've heard you say that you don't like the college basketball regular season.
You could lose 8 games.
Which makes sense. I understand.
That's the thing, though. I mean, for this example, all right, I know the Detroit Lions didn't make the playoffs last year. It went 1-6 and finished 9-8. And if it wasn't for the Seattle Seahawks beating the Rams, they would have made the playoffs and had a chance to make a run. The Jacksonville Jaguars, of course, 3-7 to 10-8.
That's what I'm saying. Hold on. Let me say this. Why should a 9-8 team have a chance to compete for a championship anyways?
Because they're above 500, you know what I'm saying? Like,
there's no shot.
Yeah,
in the format, the NFL format's great how it is, whatever. But let's think about it. Like, if every game is supposed to matter, then why the fuck should a 9-8 team even be competing for it anyway?
There's so much talent in the pros that could be displayed. You know what I'm saying? That's why they expanded from 6 teams to 6 teams in each conference in the playoffs to 7 teams, 12 to 14 teams. It's the professional level. All right, so they're gonna be like, oh, instead of having 12 of the best teams in the NFL playing, let's have 14 of the best teams in the NFL playing. And I also want to say this for the schedule makers, all right? Howard Katz, Vice President of Broadcasting, Mike North, Executive Vice President of NFL Broadcasting, they do a fantastic job of making the schedule each and every year. The flex schedule, great. I think they do a fantastic job selecting Sunday night football games, Monday night football games, 4:00 games. That's a tough thing to do. College football, they do it, a couple weeks out in advance, but they schedule it each and every week. They're like, oh, they get a week into advance and they're like, oh, this game's going to be 7:30. They got to go week by week. These guys are scheduling this thing 6-7 months into advance, and they do a fantastic job hitting a lot of games on the money. That's 272 games they got to predict right there. I know it's a different thing, right? I know it's a different thing. College, they kind of do it like the week by week flexing, but I just think the NFL does a fantastic job of trying to place games here and there and trying to be like, this should be a good matchup. This will be a good matchup. I think they do a great job of that.
It just still gets yeah, I agree. I mean, it's good, but I just feel like it still gets done either way. The games still happen in college too. But what I think is, so I'm not hating on the NFL.
Me neither. I'm not hating on college.
I enjoy to watch it. I enjoy watching it. I just feel like each week there isn't quite as much pressure until the end. The end, there's a lot of pressure for the teams that are on the borderline, not going to make the playoffs. But I feel like an NFL player can lose and take pictures with his friend on the other team and laugh about it and have jersey, not laugh about it, obviously, but with each other's jersey. It's just a little different. It's a different dynamic.
It's definitely different. I mean, they're getting paid millions of dollars to play the sport. You know what I mean? It's just it's a little different. It is.
It is different.
To each its own, but I just don't think the regular season's even it's just so hype. It's every second of every college game, every time you step foot on that field, your season could be over theoretically.
That's true.
So it's crazy.
So. But for the top teams in the NFL, you also got to look at this. Buffalo's competing with Kansas City. The Bengals are competing with Buffalo. The Chiefs are competing with the Bengals. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just using those three as an example. Right. Those teams, if they're good all season, stuff like that, the best team out of them gets the 1 seed and home field throughout the playoffs.
It's a lot like college basketball, other than the fact that you don't get a home field advantage in college basketball.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. It's
and there's more teams. There's more teams, clearly.
Yeah, it's just it just kind of depends on how you view things, what you like more of, what you don't like, don't like in some senses. We have differing opinions in some regards like that, but I mean, the bottom line is, man, we love and miss football. Like, you know what I'm saying? We love and miss both college and the NFL. I know some, you guys miss college more than NFL. You know what I'm saying? But it's just football, dude. That's why we love this show. That's why we love talking football.
I think we would all agree. I'm pretty sure that we would all agree that the three best sport things, I don't know what to call it, are college football, no order, college football, NFL, and college basketball.
Yep.
I think we all agree on that. Even though Matt doesn't really watch college basketball that much.
I say
I don't watch college basketball for shit.
But you came over a couple times. You know what I mean.
Yeah. We
not only cares about two.
The only thing that matters is Ohio State football.
That's fair. You can, it's fine.
All right, guys. Any final narratives we want to push before we get on out of here?
I
got one thing. I got a couple of things I want to say.
We didn't do the GOAT debate in basketball.
Well, we're gonna do that another episode.
Oh, we are? Okay, well then never mind.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do another episode. Matt, what do you got?
Fuck Michigan. That's it.
Good.
All right.
Anything else, Brady?
Tyler Buchner is the second greatest quarterback.
Way to push that one. All right, guys. All right, guys. Hey, before we get out of here, man, this is episode 99. 100's coming up. That's pretty big for us. We've been doing this for a good minute. Just want to say appreciate you guys' support throughout this whole thing. Obviously we're gonna keep delivering content, all that stuff. We really do appreciate all the views, all the listens, all that stuff that's come through it. We're gonna try to plan something special for 100. We'll keep you guys tuned with that. With that being said, I'm Chase Johnson. That's Brady King, Matt Ricketts, and we'll see you guys next time.
Subscribe.